Justifying steps in simplifying expressions and solving equations. Basically what we're doing here is properties. Let's jump right in. The inverse property. Basically think inverse, think opposite. So addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Now the identity property, think you can't change your identity, so everything stays the same. So you can keep things the same by adding 0 and by multiplying by 1. Next thing, associative property. Associative property, parentheses move, but order stays the same. Commutative property. Think commuting to work, and basically what you're doing is you're changing the order. Transitive property. Transitive property, the classic example is if A equals B and B equals C, then A equals C. It also works for inequalities. If A is greater than B and B is greater than C, then A is greater than C. Substitution property. Basically, you're plugging in the values that are given. So if A is equal to 3, then 4 times A is equal to A, or 4 times 3. The reflexive property. Basically, classic example, x equals x, or 3 plus 5 equals 3 plus 5. This might seem obvious, but we need to be able to justify our work in math, and so having some basic ground rules lays the foundation, even if it seems overly simplistic and obvious. The next thing is symmetric property. Basically, think of the equal sign as a line of symmetry. It doesn't matter whether things are on the left or on the right, they're still equal. Next thing, distributive property. Basically, it's multiplication, and think about passing things out, distributing money or distributing a newspaper. Inverse property. Think of inverting colors. There's Beyonce inverted, or the front side invert, which is a skateboarding trick. So the inverse for addition is adding a negative, and the multiplicative inverse is multiplying by the reciprocal. Your identity doesn't change, like I said earlier, so you add 0 for additive identity and you multiply by 1 for the multiplicative identity. Now, in math, parentheses are like friend groups. You can think of them as groupings. And for addition and multiplication, you can regroup things. This will be very helpful when solving equations. And you can check out that cute dog. Associate is a friend or companion. Those dogs are associates or friends. Now, commutative property. The order changes. And same thing for multiplication. You can move around the order. Yep, there's a car commuting. Think that car, you're commuting to work. That's not a picture of my car, by the way. Okay. Transitive property. Okay, so as I mentioned, the inequalities. So pretend that the Patriots are better than the Steelers. So Patriots greater than Steelers. And we'll say that the Steelers are better than the Rams. Then, therefore, the Patriots are better than the Rams. Pretty simple. Alright, next thing, substitution property. Basically what we're doing here is you're substituting the values that are given. So you're plugging in 3 if x equals 3. Reflexive property. This actually is a little bit misleading because it should just say A equals B on both sides, but remember that mistake. All the reflexive property is saying is x equals x, and this example is a combination of two properties. Pause the video and think about what properties they are. The two properties are reflexive and commutative, because the reflexive property says that both sides are equal, but then the associative property is saying, or the commutative property is saying that the order can change with addition. Alright, symmetric property, A plus B equals C, and C equals A plus B. Basically, it doesn't matter which side of the equal sign everything's on. Distributive property, distributing newspapers. Alright, so there's 1, 3, changes that to 3x. There's another 3, changes that to 6, and the parentheses go away. Alright, and remember, distributing, like distributing cash, or look at this guy, he's distributing newspaper. Alright, that's all I got. Thanks for tuning in, and check out the next video.